Can you hear my fridge? Sorry about that. I'm gonna read a couple lines from this poem. Dried maple and ash bark, lush emerald flats, the fall-colored arena hark, the wide superior mats. At the valley's peak, encircled my life, the open space speaks. Let me end the strife.
What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Alright. Sorry about that. So, update on everything. Basement flooded. Couldn't live stream Wednesday, unfortunately. They were still cleaning up stuff down here, but they got it cleaned up quick. As for damage, nothing was really damaged. I mean, there's like, I had some kind of like a beanbag down here, and like we did have a bunch of clothes that were in the middle of laundry, and they were on the ground, and they got fucking soaked with muddy water. But other than that, I mean, not really much damage. Like this thing's probably gonna have to be completely soaked. There's like mud and stuff on it still. I was trying to dry it out, hoping that smell, but it's starting to smell. So we're probably gonna have to douse it with soap and see if I can. And if not, then I'll just shit. But for that, nothing really crazy happened. Thanks for all of the kind words, support, all that. It's definitely not fun to have your basement flood, but it's not. It was more or less like I was just really glad. Like, so my whole computer system, all of the computers in this house sit on a very high desk. Uh, None of the water hit the outlets. Thankfully, none of that was damaged or nothing. It was funny, dude. I came down here. There was 3 inches of water on the ground. I was in my I have a pair of waders that I fish with, and I came down here with my wader boots, and like my computer was on, and there was just 3 inches of water. I should have taken a picture of it, but I was like, oh shit, and I just turned everything off real quick. got it all situated. But yeah, it was an inconvenience, but not the end of the world. I don't know why my taskbar is locked, so you guys get to see my taskbar today. I've tried to fix it like 5 times. I think I got to restart my computer. But with all that said, what's up, Lord? What's up, Wicked? Val? Always, yes, sir. What's up, Dorian? Glad to see you here. Glad to see both of you here, as always. That headset mic's not it, dude. So I've heard two different things. So if the headset mic's not it, I'll switch back to the other mic. But when I was doing the daily analysis on my laptop, everyone said keep using the headset mic. They're like, don't go back to the other mic. So I mean, if you guys like this, I'll stick with it. Not, then I'll go back to the. I have a professional mic. What caused the flood? So okay, I live in the Ohio River Valley, and basically there's foothills like everywhere, right? So I live kind of on the bottom. So basically, I'll draw it for you. So let's say you have this big hill here, right? Then like a neighborhood full of houses down here. So what happened was is it's got a bunch of rain very quickly. Like we got 2 inches of rain in like 30 minutes or some shit. Like the most rain we've gotten in such a short amount of time. Like we've had storms where we get like 4 or 5 inches of rain, but it's throughout the day or throughout the week. Nothing crazy, but like 2 inches is so quick. So what happened is all this rain's coming down, right, and it's filling up all the drainage here. Well, then all that rain rushed off the hill and combined with the rain that was already existing here, and no shit, there was like 2 feet of rain for like solid couple hours flowing down the street um, of my street. It was pretty crazy. There was even further. Like I live in, I'm not even near the river. The Ohio River is even further down. So like, say that this is a hill. Like this is, say this is where the Ohio River is. It was like 5 feet, 6 feet deep there, because like all the rain was coming here and then going there and then flowing into the river. So ultimately, it sucks, but part of living in the river valley. So for the Patreon headset, might be better, but here it was louder and picked up sound. Okay, let me see if I can move it a little closer. See if that helps. Because honestly, this headset might even be better than that mic that I have. I don't know. But yeah, if there's like any issues with the audio, let me know. I'm like experimenting. Do we want to use this? Do we want to use that? So if you guys are like, go back to the old audio, I'll set it up for Monday. Oh, no, don't even feel sorry at all for what happened. It's just something that happens, man. I'm just glad that like nothing. I mean, even when your basement floods, right? Like definitely, you guys saw the video. It's gross. Like there's mud, silt, and all that. But, like unless you have a bunch of papers on the floor and stuff like that, you can wash everything off. Let it dry out in the sun. Now the problem is, for the last like 4 days, I've been trying to dry stuff out outside, and it just keeps getting rained on. I don't know. I'm not complaining that much. I mean, it's whatever. I mean, whatever audio you guys want, I'll set it up. The other mic's upstairs because like literally I had to take everything and move it upstairs. All right, let's get into this analysis real quick. So, couple things, and I've probably been telling you guys the same thing, but one of the things that I kind of ranted about this morning in today's private analysis is, for the last several weeks, saying, hey guys, this is up 30% in 6 months. The most the S&P's gone up in such a short amount of time. Like a record. In 6 months, we've gone up 30%. At some point, you have to say, hey man, this is probably going to pull back. We're probably going to see some red. We're probably going to have something that causes, this overextension to come back to the mean. And I was saying, like, hey, we've been saying that. We've been reaching it. Probably going to happen. When is it going to happen? We don't know. We're in price discovery. It's going to happen. Now it's happening. And I go to the main Discord, I go on Twitter, and everyone's screaming bearish. I like scream all this, all that, all this. And I was just telling everybody like, hey, look, if you know that we're overextended, that we've basically been going up in a straight line, and we get a 3% pullback, now you're saying the Thompson, like you got to be realistic and you got to follow, you got to like practice what you preach. If you know it's going to happen, don't be surprised when it happens. That makes sense. Like you don't want to be the person that, when you see a red candle this week or you see some red, and the same thing goes for crypto. It blows my mind, and I guess crypto is a better example. We get to 74K, and I know I was I was definitely not expecting this. Right, been open and honest about it. I definitely did not trade. I did get this, and I got like parts of this. Right, I did not get the whole thing, which is, that sucks. That's a story for another day. I thought that weekly. I honestly thought this. I thought this weekly. Sorry, we got some of this, and then like bits and pieces of this. We did not get all of it. But anyways, I thought this weekly kind of head and shoulders thing would play out. It didn't. It made sense with especially here. There's a daily. Excuse me. I did not think this. I'm getting this confused because the daily had a giant. Yeah. So I thought this daily head and shoulders would play out. Didn't. It made sense with the buy the rumor, sell the news. Obviously, the ETF rumor is here. News was here. We dumped. Started ripping because BlackRock was buying. It just made sense to me. Like, hey, BlackRock's probably gonna let this thing drop all the way back down to like mid 30s and then go up from there. Fortunately, we just ripped. So can't win them all. But we've been overextended for weeks. My point is, we've been extremely overextended, right? We are at the third highest point in history for RSI. Okay, what happens when RSI breaks, 85? You usually see a pretty steep correction. So, knowing that, and it's not like there's anything bearish here. It's not like we're just going to see a red candle all the way down because BlackRock's buying. I don't think we're going to see a big 60% dump for quite a while. So, anyways, knowing that we're overextended, knowing that the daily Bollinger Bands and the weekly Bollinger Bands are, basically, if you open the weekly and you open up any indicator for like the last couple weeks, especially when we get into like 74K, and now you're looking at, some of these divergences that are forming, even the daily, you're outside the upper band. I mean, everything was screaming for overextension. We need to see sideways. So, with that in the back of your mind, you'd think that a lot of people would say, hey, this is just correction. It's not a big deal. We're just going to move sideways and cool off, and then we can go higher in the future. Well, no. People on Twitter, like, I've seen the most absurd charts I've ever seen. And we are probably the most bullish. Like, I am the most bullish on Bitcoin I've ever been. And part of it's because of the ETF. Right? The ETF getting approved, BlackRock buying tens of thousands of Bitcoin, retail not even in the market yet. And aside from all of that, people are like, we're going to do this. Like, with just a line down. Or they're like, I sold all my Bitcoin at 70K because XYZ. It's like, there's no, like, overall issues with any of this macro trend. And fundamentally, we've never been bullish. We've never been more bullish. So you sold your Bitcoin because, why? Are you looking for engagement? Saying you sold because we had, a couple red candles and Bitcoin to 500K? Maybe one day, but not this cycle. That's like absurd. But people are going to see red and automatically assume that the bull market's over, when in reality, for the last 4 weeks, we've been at the same price. We have been hovering around the 67, 68, 69K. Now, I know we dipped down to 60, and I know we've dipped down to 58, and went all the way up to 74. We've been consistently opening and closing around the 67K mark for quite a while. And why? Because we're bringing RSI down. So even with some of this correction, we're still at $68,000. We've brought RSI down almost, it's like 12, 13 points. I still think we need to come a little bit lower, right? A couple more weeks of sideways. But that's just me. It might not happen. How long is the cycle? Are you saying 4 years? I have no idea how long the cycle will be. I honestly think that like when we get to Bitcoin, I'll talk about, and they're not necessarily targets, but I'll talk about like what I think the top will be. So the DXY, we also had this. Some random person went viral for this, right? They're like, oh, the DXY, it's breaking out of its diagonal downtrend, all this and all that, and I went into my private analysis a couple days ago. If you're part of it, you remember this. I'd said, guys, this is not a diagonal line you can trust at all. Like, one, you have two touches. Okay, first of all, you should never really trust diagonals unless there's at least three. And apart from that, you have a massive amount of space here, right? You can draw this diagonal from anywhere. I doubt this diagonal has any meaning at all. And what are we seeing now? We had a failed attempt at breaking horizontal resistance. Now we're going back down, right? Almost making what looks like a double top here on the weekly. So, in all honesty, people that got bullish on the DXY, why are you bullish on the DXY? DXY can't even get strength to push over 104, let alone everything is at all time. Well, not everything. Bitcoin, all the major stuff, Dow Jones, Nasdaq, S&P, Bitcoin, they're all above all-time highs. We're at all-time highs. DXY rejected local golden pocket fib retrace. It's a lot of words. I just have it rejected resistance, but whatever you're looking at, mine did the same. Look at total. So again, with the total charts, and all the total charts look the same, so I'm going to save you guys the time. And all I need to talk about here is we're moving sideways in RSI. RSI is corrected from 91 all the way down to 75, almost a 20 correction. This is what's needed to continue higher, right? Look what happened in, what is this, 2016, 2015, all the way to 2017. We hit that 86 mark, correction, 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 right? Who knows if we'll do that again, but if we do, awesome, all for it. But you need to correct. You can't be overextended forever. The halving will happen on the block 84 made. Okay, so my problem with the halving, diagonal lanes are made to be broken for. Yeah, make this bigger. So diagonal lines are made to mislead you. Okay. So my problem with the halving, not that I have a problem, it is a bullish event, but I think too many people put too much emphasis on it. Guys, we're not going to go from 69,000 to 120,000 in one day from the halving. The halving is pretty much a non-event the day it happens. I know over time it makes Bitcoin bullish. It reduces the amount of supply. As long as demand's coming in, price will go up. But it's not it's not like a wild event like that. It's not the wild event that you think is going to happen. Look at the other days of the halving. Like nothing happened. Yes, things happened after, but thoughts on gold? I think gold is the dumbest investment you can buy. I don't even look at the chart. Right? I have it just because people ask. I know it's doing well. You know, breaking out, awesome. It's because the dollar's going down. But I think gold is the dumbest thing you can buy. You can quote me on this, and I'd love for someone to clip this and send it to me. Gold is the biggest scam you can buy because unless you're trading it, unless you're saying, hey, I'm going to swing trade gold, which again, I guess that's 30%. That's not bad. Okay. So unless you are trading gold, it is the biggest scam in human history. Okay, other than wearing jewelry, because jewelry, I'm into jewelry. I wear a gold, I have a gold chain and a nice watch. Like, don't get me wrong, I like wearing gold. But if you're one of those people that's like, oh, the end of the world's coming, I'm gonna buy some gold so I can be protected. Like, you're an idiot. Okay, you are being conned and scammed. Why? If the end of the world happens, here's Earth, whatever. Terrible drawing of Earth. If the end of the world happens, No more, no more computers. Say all the electricity's out, everything. End of the world, like worst case scenario. What the hell is your gold gonna do for you? Like you're better off buying bullets, or fishing hooks, or fishing line, or rations, or pelts. I mean, the list can go on. The hell is your gold gonna do for you? You're being scammed. Someone's just selling you gold and making money from it, right? They'll buy it in bulk and sell it to you premium. Buy it, they make money, they laugh all the way to the bank. Because what are they going to do? They're going to take their money and keep it. Like, it's the age-old question. And my grandparents are like, hey, we have a bunch of gold and all this. I'm like, why? What is your gold doing for you? It does nothing. Like, your gold, unless you are trading it. Unless you're saying, hey, and you can do this with anything, right? If you're like, hey, gold just corrected, 50% here. I'm going to buy some as an investment to sell one day. Okay, I get your point. That's all good. But most people that buy gold buy it as like a hedge against like the government taking over the world or whatever, or the world ending. It's like, what is your gold going to do for you? I bought Tau under 200. Want to buy even more. Can Tau go back to 460, which it did recently? Probably not. Tau, for me unless it dips really hard. Tau for me is like right into that gold. Well, it's kind of in that kind of golden area where it broke out. Now it's retesting. You have like support plus on the week sorted divergent brought RSI all the way down. I mean, if we get 460, you'll be really lucky, but I doubt it. And aside from that, I don't know if I would be buying now. Kind of late buying now. Let's get into Tether. So, some confluence with Bitcoin and everything else. So, for those who don't know, when Tether goes down, Bitcoin goes up. Tether goes up, Bitcoin goes down. So, what's Tether doing? Tether's going sideways. This is good. What is it ultimately making? A bear flag. This entire crypto space, most of these coins are making bull flags. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Crow, I tweeted about earlier, Tau, EOS, File, CRV. All of these are making bull flags, while Tether Dominance is making a bear flag. Again, that is confluence for an overall bullish move in the market. Why are we making a bear flag? Primarily because we were the most oversold we've ever been. Right, to bring that overextension back to terms, back to the mean, so that we can continue this downtrend. Bitcoin, so update on the weekly. We've corrected RSI about 10 points, like we discussed earlier, but nothing too crazy. I'd like to see a couple more weeks, bring that RSI down. Ultimately, I'd really like to see this, where we get that bullish divergence there and remain in the 60Ks. That would be fantastic. Will it happen? I'm unsure. But the daily, guys, we're looking at a bull flag. You would be I was talking with Castillo Trading, and we were both like, this is the dumbest time to be bearish and to not pay attention. This is when, and I know it's boring, I know Bitcoin's not doing much and volume's going down and we're moving sideways, but this is a gigantic bull flag, right? And I'm going to show you guys something. I know a lot of you have seen it before. I've tweeted about it before, but it happened in 2020. We made a bull flag, and a lot of people lost interest, and a lot of people just ended up buying the top again. Correct. Like, oh, well, it's done now, or it's going to revert, whatever. This is the time to pay attention and look for long entry. Because not only are we bringing weekly overextension, the daily is now gearing up for a move upwards. We have these very, very possible bullish divergences forming. If we head back downwards, we're going to get even more obvious bullish divergences there. Plus, our RSI and MACD is coming back to our intersection point to head upwards. It's fully correcting. Top of that, volume's going down as price is moving sideways. Very, 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 very bullish. Right? And what does that mean, right? If volume's going down, we're moving sideways, holding trend. When volume comes in, so basically when volume starts rising again, price should rise with it because we've seen price moving up, right? With volume moving up. So if volume comes in, we should see price rise, ultimately. We're seeing a nice cool off period once those larger buys come in. We should see it higher. So on the 4-hour, we've been following our plan. 68.6 retest, likely head down to the lower end of the flag. Unfortunately, it's been a very, very boring 30 days, right? We've been moving sideways. There haven't been many trade setups. It's just been boring. Not much to it other than that. You just got to be patient. You got to have eyes like an eagle to catch that reversal setup because it's going to happen. I'm telling you right now, we're going to get. I'd put money on that we're going to get a double bottom in this bull flag. You're going to have a chance to buy. And there's going to be some of you that are like, oh, it's just boring and this and all that. Just check a chart 2 or 3 times a day. You don't have to look at it every 5 minutes. 2 or 3 times a day, open up the 4-hour, open up the daily. That's all you got to do. Maybe the 1-hour as well. But if it's on the 4-hour, it should be on the 1-hour anyways. In confluence of that, look at IBIT. IBIT's making a gigantic bull. Just more confluence for that overall. Bitcoin dominance. So dominance is rejecting resistance. I mean, we attempted to break, pulled back a little bit. We'll see what happens next week. If we can start closing candles or really get above these wicks and close candles, then yes, it's breaking out. Guys, ultimately, this is a giant bull flag. So, and this is very good for alts, right? That means that more liquidity will dump into alts when it comes time for alt season. Stock ETH and ETH to Bitcoin. So ETH, I've seen a lot of Ethereum hate on Twitter and in Discord. I've had people ask me, are you going to change your ETH to Sol? Absolutely not. And why? Because once that liquidity pours in, ETH is going to skyrocket. I think people are underestimating ETH. They forget that Ethereum has outperformed Bitcoin for the last 5 years. It's going to be a shame when these people get absolutely shell-shocked when ETH does run. That liquidity pours into ETH. You guys have to remember, the Bitcoin ETF is just stage 1 of this kind of large roll of ETFs for crypto. Next is Ethereum. What do you think is going to happen when Ethereum gets passed? Right? Ethereum's going to do the same thing Bitcoin just did, and it'll probably happen during the start of alt season. I hope the meme coin hype will end soon because they take all the attention coins with real utility like LIKE, nothing market prestige. I don't think so. I don't think most of these alts are doing anything. And frankly, I don't really care about meme coins. I know some of them do well and some of them don't. But ultimately, I'm watching Bitcoin. I think if you're distracted with meme coins all the time, you're gonna miss better moves, easier moves, less risky moves. You won't get rugged. So. And Ethereum to Bitcoin. So it looks like we're trying to break down here as Bitcoin dominance is breaking out. As much as I want to see this start heading upwards, this does look like a downtrend sideways to continue lower. Again, guys, eventually liquidity is going to flow into ETH. Basically, every altcoin is getting busted compared to Bitcoin. I mean, you look at Link, right? Link, same thing. At a double top on the weekly. This thing's getting busted compared to Bitcoin. Look what Link's done, right? It's doing okay. And that's acceptable because Bitcoin leads the charge in the bull market. Right? I think people forget about that. They're like, I think it's funny, like so many people are trying to figure out which alt is best and which alt's going to do this and which alt's going to do that and alt's this, alt's that. Guys, the only thing that's moving right now is Bitcoin. Right? I know some alts are doing better than others, but consistently, because Bitcoin dominance is extremely bullish, you should be watching Bitcoin. You should not be going through your alt list and going, which alt should I be trading right now? Now, I will argue there are some alts that you should be buying spot and holding for long-term gains, right? Like you could look at CRV, something that's down like 90%, that has a gigantic double bottom on its weekly chart. But as for saying like trading wise, like you should be watching Bitcoin. Like all these other alts aren't going to do anything unless Bitcoin moves. Bitcoin is the dictator in the market. Nobody talks about altcoins in the top 100 anymore. It's mostly meme coins. Now meme coins on base next. Gotcha. I don't know if I completely agree with that, but I mean, people are going to talk about what's moving, and right now there's definitely some pump and dumps happening with me, which again I would stay away from. You guys are taking on a ton of risk trying to buy this. All right, guys. I think I'm going to end it there. I don't have a lot more to say. There's hasn't been a lot of movement recently, but again, please make sure you're watching the video. This is what you should be paying attention to, right? Looking for a trade here, because ultimately Bitcoin is king at the moment. We are in Bitcoin season, not altcoin season. So keep that in mind. Keep your head on a swivel for that setup. All that said, be patient, users management. Good luck.